Paging Dr. Juan. Paging Dr. Juan.
Damn, son.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Revive America.
We're
Thank
still
you
here.
for tuning in. I'm your host, Billy Prempa.
I'm your host, Dave Herrera. We've got a cool episode lined up today.
Every episode.
Yeah, every
is a cool
episode is a cool
Dave.
episode. You think, maybe things would be a little lighter, but no, every week there's just so many articles, so many things you could talk about. It's just never-
It's because we got some great, or should I say great, terrible politicians that just keep on giving us gifts, man. So keep it up. You guys are giving us fantastic content.
It's because of you horrible politicians.
Thank
that
you.
We have a show.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Stop doing terrible things because you're hurting our country. Please
Mm.
give us an opportunity to not have anything to talk about.
Yes, absolutely.
But anyway, today's episode, let's start.
Yeah, our first slide. We talked about this last week, and here we are 7 days later.
Barely. Yeah.
Barely 7 days later, and here we are again. A New Jersey councilman fatally shot 1 week after the slaying of another lawmaker. This guy Russell Heller was actually found murdered outside of his house in his car,
Yeah.
and they're saying this one they found the guy, I guess, who shot him
Yeah.
like a few blocks away, and he had shot himself in his car. So I don't know what's
Yeah,
going
that's-
on in New Jersey. Everyone's dying in a car.
That's one of the things that I actually saw here. Is like one of the volunteers that works on the campaign. Her husband actually works with PSC&G. I'm trying to find the actual message of what she said, but essentially I can't find it right now. But she basically was explaining that the guy that committed the murder was a former employee. He got fired.
Yeah.
He was a little bit disgruntled, and there's still more details that haven't been released, but it doesn't look like this is politically motivated right now, unfortunately.
No, but it's still, I mean, it just seems very weird and coincidental. And just like the person who lost her life last week, here we are again, and somebody gets murdered in their car.
Yeah.
I don't know why you did that. So obviously this is horrible, but moral of the story is treat your employees right, because who knows what'll happen.
But rest in peace for the councilman.
Absolutely.
I mean, because nonetheless, I'm like, even if listen, first things first, bro. Is like, I don't care how jacked up your situation is, bro. You don't got to go around and kill people.
Get another job. Get another job. PSENG sucks.
I hear the benefits are pretty good.
You know what PSENG stands for, right?
No.
Park, sleep, eat, and go home, because that's all they do. They sit in front of your house.
I've not heard
You think
that.
they're working? There's a guy, he's like on a tablet pretending to do stuff, and then they leave an hour later, and you get a $300 bill. And you're like, what happened? They're like, oh, we just digitally turned your power off. Like, and then they leave. So park, sleep, eat, and go home.
Yeah. Outside of jokes, though, we want to send our condolences out to the family.
Absolutely.
We'll keep you in our prayers, and it's a shame that had to happen.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately.
Absolutely.
So let's give a moment of silence.
Guess who's back?
Hang on. Let's give a moment of silence to them. Give them a little respect.
All right.
Rest in peace. Moving forward.
Speaking of the opposite of silence, guess who's back?
The loudest mouth
Absolutely.
in the United States
Absolutely.
of America.
Trump officially had his Facebook and Instagram page reinstated. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's not going to be like that anxious girlfriend that just like messages immediately. Like he's going to wait.
Waiting for me.
He's going to think of some perfect time or something to say.
Oh yeah.
But I'm sure we shall probably by the next episode, we will probably have the first Trump tweet in 2 years.
His first message is going to be,
"Did you miss me?"
No, he said that already. It's going to be MAGA.
You think so?
Just MAGA. It's going to be the most retweeted tweet of all time.
You think so?
Believe me.
Maybe.
I don't know, man.
I mean, he definitely made Facebook and Instagram a little bit better.
But you know one thing that really, and now that we are talking about Trump on Instagram and Facebook coming back, we got to kind of talk about the elephant in the room with social media. I don't know if you saw that post that he did on Truth Social about Ron DeSantis.
No, I didn't.
It was a very cringe post, and I hate when this happens when we do this show and it's like at the last minute.
Something about Ron responding to something Trump said, but I didn't see what was said.
So Ron didn't necessarily respond to it, and I really wish because it just crossed my mind at this because I saw it earlier today. But basically, Donald Trump posted a picture of when Ron DeSantis was allegedly, because I don't know all the facts of whether he was or wasn't, allegedly a high school teacher, and he's supposedly around some underage girls. And Trump writes like a thing like, "Oh, Ron DeSanctimonious grooming little girls with alcohol," and I'm like, Trump, I love you, but this is an ultra cringe tweet. You know what I'm saying? That the picture is so out of context. It's like, look, it's you. You're standing there. You got like, who knows who those freaking kids are, right? And it didn't look like a suspect picture. It wasn't like he was grabbing the kids inappropriately. If anything, it looked like a picture like, hey, we're with the cool teacher guy. Holy shit.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, Ron's a
DeSantis.
cool governor. I'm pretty sure he was probably that cool teacher that everybody liked.
I mean, playing devil's advocate, there are some articles saying like, oh, he was a terrible high school teacher and blah, 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 blah. I never read into it because I just seen the headlines and whatnot.
Maybe we have to now.
Well, maybe it'll probably be one of the next things. But regardless, Trump making that tweet, I was like, or post on Truth. What do you call them? Truths? Retruths? I don't know what you call them on there.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't use it.
Yeah, but it's Trump. Listen, man, you're back. Don't drop the ball, man. I think he's
definitely going to do it. But you know what's funny? Like, this is from NBC News, and it's like, and the line underneath, Facebook first suspended Trump's account after the aftermath of the Capitol riot. Like, they have to continue.
We don't want you to forget.
They have to continue to
Don't
remind.
forget that.
You know what? Speaking of Capitol riot, and I totally forgot this. You do know Capitol, what was it, in Utah? Or somewhere out Midwest, they stormed the Capitol.
I think
Where-
is
does
that the
anybody-
one you posted in the Revive
In the chat, literally,
Yeah,
I think it's a state capitol, not the DC capitol, but a
Right,
state
right.
capitol house was actually overrun by protesters. Something about
This is
transgender
what it was.
rights. I don't know.
It wasn't even that, bro. The bill was to prevent minors from
Under 21, right.
from getting the sexual reassignment surgery.
Right.
And they're saying you're putting trans people's lives in danger. So the part that's insane is the fact that we have so many grown adults that are actively fighting to mutilate children that can't even make a long-term decision at this point.
Right.
That is pure insanity to me. And the fact that the left uses it as an opportunity to kind of fold it up and say, well, this is trans rights you're violating, so I think you're a bigot.
But where do we draw the line, right? Because yeah, no. That's not what I'm saying. Is they were inside that Capitol building. They were doing the same thing. They were breaking stuff. They were screaming. They were in the faces of these politicians, and not a whisper, not a word, not an arrest, not a. And I get it. They can't compare, whatever. I think it's Utah or somewhere out west's capital to DC's capital, and I'm not trying to justify one for the other.
Right.
But you have to say if you're going to break into a government building without a permit and protest, because you do have the right in America, and I'm a firm believer of people's rights to protest. But I'm pretty sure they didn't receive a permit to actually go inside the Capitol building and do that.
No.
If you're going to do that and you're going to hold people accountable for one thing, you should be able to hold them accountable for the other thing. You know, we still have people from January 6th that have not had trials. They don't have charges. They're just kind of sitting there in a 23-hour lockup where they can't see their family members, rotting. And they continue to remind you about it, but they never remind you about the people that were still arrested. I think one guy actually, I saw earlier today, one of the guys who was holding the Confederate flag got charged for 3 years, which, by the way, you should get charged for 3 years just for carrying the Confederate flag.
It's over.
It's a participation trophy. I hate that flag, bro.
Bro, you know
I hate that flag.
You know something funny about the Confederate flag? There's this guy.
There's nothing funny about it. You lost.
No.
I'm sorry.
Well, it's funny. It's funny because they lost, but they're still waving it, so it is kind of funny.
It's crazy.
It is kind of funny. But there's this guy in New Jersey, right? I barely know the dude, but he's been on this tirade trying to like tear me apart. Billy Premp is a rhino. He's a fake conservative.
Is this the guy that wears the Confederate flag?
The moron.
I know that guy. He's a school teacher.
Is he a teacher?
He's a school teacher. He's a little. I'm pretty sure.
I thought he was.
He wears cowboy boots too.
Yeah.
He looks kind of Spanish.
I thought he was. He is Spanish, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't know. You can't assume people's races, Billy.
Listen, man,
but I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah,
he wears it like a cape.
The thing that's funny is like I remember
ridiculous.
shaking his hand before in the past, like regular guy, no big deal.
Yeah.
But then one day I forgot how it happened. But I think he came on my comments or something. It was something that I said about some shit, something about the South, and I essentially was like, bro, I don't give a shit about the South. Like I'm not a Southerner.
For the record, I got a lot of friends that live in the South. I love the South.
Totally
it's a beautiful
fine.
place to visit. But as somebody who was born in the North, right?
I don't care, man. Like that's what I'm saying. I don't care.
It's a stupid flag. Like you shouldn't wave it anymore. You know what I mean? And I'm not comparing the two, but it's like. I'm not even going to make this. It's too much of a reach. But
bro,
that kind of a flag, like, hang it up.
I'm from up here.
Yeah.
I don't care about that.
You know what I mean?
That's like, but you have to care about the Confederacy.
Imagine,
why would I care about the Confederacy? It's over, bro.
Imagine,
it's
like,
done.
50 years later, 60, 70, 80 years later, like, walking around with, like, your second place trophy from swimming. Like, bro, you lost. Like, go away wearing it proudly. Like,
but
it wasn't even cool when the Dukes of Hazzard did it. Let it go.
But
Don't
anyway,
wave it.
this guy.
I'm sorry.
This guy has been like all over social media, just trying to drag me in the mud. Like, oh, Billy's a terrible person. Like to the point that he went and backed like a libertarian candidate that was running against me in 2022 that didn't even live in District 9, that had no idea what the hell was going on in the community. Who said this guy's a greater candidate. Didn't even have a freaking website.
I know exactly who you're talking about. I know a bunch of people got
not the brightest light bulb.
I think two election cycles ago, a bunch of people got into like some trouble because he was like in a photo with people. Like they were just there and like he was standing off to the side. He was there and they're like, they took a photo with a guy with a Confederate flag and everyone's like, bro, that dude's everywhere. Like we all know at those when you used to go to those like Reopen New Jersey rallies, there's always those people you see and you're like, oh, don't make eye contact.
He doesn't do
with
anything though. He just stands there.
Look away. It's Hirsch Singh. Don't look at him.
I got nothing. I don't care about Hirsch. I don't got a problem with Hirsch.
We're just like Hirsch. We're in somebody's basement right now. Sorry, Hirsch.
God
don't fucking run again, Hirsch. You ruined the primaries.
You're blowing my cover here.
Are you a Hirsch Singh fan? Are you a singer?
No, you just said basement.
Oh, well, come on now. They don't know where this basement is.
We're in the bunker.
Damn, son.
We're in Hirsch Singh's basement.
Alex Jones is like, we're in bunker in FEMA
Hirsch.
region number 5.
Hirsch, the meatloaf. We want meatloaf, Hirsch. Hirsch has nothing to do because he lost twice. Get me the meatloaf, Hirsch.
People have no idea who Hirsch Singh is.
Hirsch Singh, you
right?
don't
maybe
know.
People in New Jersey.
If you don't, where's the button? Where's the button?
If you don't know, now you know.
Leave Hirsch
He came
alone.
in third twice. Stop.
Listen.
Stop it.
Listen, man.
All right, moving
Leave Hirsch
on.
alone.
Speaking of things that should have never been floating around the United States.
Yeah. The FBI releases photos of now hang on, before we even read this headline, I remember reading something like this on social media and they were like, oh yeah, they recovered it. And I'm like, I highly doubt it because I heard
But they did apparently.
Well, apparently they did. Because the initial reports that I was hearing was, well, the balloon flew. We waited until the balloon flew away from civilians and it flew out into the water. We shot it, but then we were able to
because you couldn't shoot it down over like North Dakota where nobody lives.
like nothing but dust. But they said that. But from what I heard was like they weren't able to recover it. Now apparently they can recover it.
Right.
Tomato. It's here.
So if you weren't paying attention, this past week a China balloon was flying all across China. They actually first spotted this over Alaska. Which, if you've never been to Alaska, it's not like people live all over Alaska. There's like Anchorage and like places of Alaska where people live. But they knew about this balloon actually a week before we first saw it here. Now, for those of you that didn't follow this floating story here, this balloon flew all the way from the West Coast across about 4 of our naval and military bases.
I don't believe it.
No, that's what they're saying.
I'm calling cap, bro. I don't believe it.
The trajectory showed. I saw it. They showed the map, and it showed the bases that it flew over. How's that cap?
Listen, I don't believe it. I don't believe. Listen, because you know what I think, bro. First off, where do you think this balloon flew from?
I don't know.
I think it came from Canada.
So here's what they're
a boy in his blob.
Here's what they're saying. Actually, now they have since recovering this. We're going to get to them, but since recovering this balloon, they've actually found there's American writing on this company inside of America that does military contracts directly with China.
Excuse me?
Yes. So there's
wait. What's that company called?
That's what they're trying to find out right now. The FBI is being very hush hush about it. Obviously, I mean, you know what's funny? Look at this picture. The FBI is literally has a sign up. FBI evidence response team. Like
we're on the scene.
Like we're here. No need to fear. It was like that episode of South Park, like Captain Hindsight. Like everybody knows, like you guys should have done this sooner. Flies away, But no. So they're finding out that there is actually American writing on the bottom of this, and it was a defense contractor that worked directly with the Chinese military.
Okay,
so
that throws a wrench in my theory. This thing came from Canada.
But when it doesn't matter where it came from. They showed the trajectory that it floated, and it went over 4 military bases out Midwest.
See, hang on, pause for a second, because like now this is the part that frustrates me. Now, this thing flew over 4 different bases. That means you knew this thing flew over 4 different bases, and you still didn't shoot it down.
Right, out on the Midwest.
That's why I don't buy the story.
But again, there's we're going to go deeper into this.
Okay.
But if we go to the next slide here. The new details about the balloon that we are just learning today is that the Chinese balloon contained antennas capable of collecting signal intelligence. That means if it flew over these bases, it had the capability to pick up any radio waves or signals that it could. So the State Department officially confirmed that the Chinese balloon that flew over the U.S. for several days had multiple antennas that were capable of collecting signal intelligence, basically saying it could pick up phone calls, radio waves, signals like that.
Right.
So you had antennas that were picking up intelligence. This wasn't just a weather balloon. You flew over the country for 7 days. You flew over military bases. And when they shot it down, they shot it down over water. So all the electronics inside this thing were fried.
No, you could probably recover it. It's probably had a black box or something on there.
Maybe. But you got to ask, again, look, we don't call Joe Beijing Biden for nothing. When you have a Chinese balloon flying over your country for 7 days and you don't act until it's literally completed the mission, till it's literally gone through the entire continental U.S.
Bro, that first off, the Chinese aren't going to send something that's going to we're going to store all the data in an SD card. Like that thing's transmitting in real time.
By the time we recovered, it was real-time transmission.
Yeah.
Come on, dude. It's like a FaceTime directly to China.
It's like, oh, look, I see it.
But here's the question is, why wasn't this taken down immediately? Why weren't they figuring out ways? Like, we found out about it, and then you waited 7 days. Like, it was just up there for 7 days. 7 days.
You see, there's a... You see, now, if we get, like, some massive data leak in the next couple of months or some massive power shortage or something happens to the internet or the infrastructure or the grid or anything like that, who's to say that they were like, okay, we know we could do... Let's say an EMP, an electromagnetic pulse attack on the United States.
Did you watch Mike Crispy's video?
No. What did he say?
So shout out to Mike Crispy and his show. Mike Crispy's cool.
What did he say?
So if you actually go back in the 1958, the U.S. military actually was using balloons that are identical to this with the same setup as this. And what they were doing is they were actually flying EMPs over the water. It wasn't an EMP. It was actually nuclear bombs. They were testing them to see. They realized that the blast of a nuclear bomb, when it hits the ground, it obviously has radiation waves and it travels, but when they actually blow these things up in the air, it actually magnifies the traveling, right? So blowing up a nuclear warhead in the air will make it travel farther. So they were thinking about ways that they could attach EMPs and things like that. So again, and Mike talked about this and I watched it and I was like, damn, like he made a lot of sense because there was a video of this balloon. You had the same type of balloon flying over our military bases, collecting data. Our military isn't doing anything. Our president isn't doing anything.
I just thought of something
Go ahead.
that just really, I don't know why the light bulb just came off at the top of my head right now.
It went on, you mean?
No, it went on, I mean, but.
The light bulb's off. Everyone's like, good night, everyone.
Like ding, 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 ding. But I just thought of something, man. Yo, Juan, remember Joel?
Yeah, we name
I
dropped.
do.
him.
Yep.
So we had a friend we went to high school with who was in the Air Force together, right? Where was Joel stationed?
Ooh, that's a good question on my side, bro. I forgot.
He was stationed in Montana, bro.
Montana. Yeah,
Montana.
yeah.
Now, you know
French
what,
Montana.
now what type of base was he stationed at? You don't even remember. It's gotta remember.
Yeah, I don't.
Yo,
remember.
you're asking the
I'm
Fed
sorry.
to dime people out. He's like,
well, he's supposed to do. He's supposed to know the
I
answer. He's the
can't.
Fed.
I can't.
He's supposed to know the
because
answer.
I
But
can't tell everybody the
Do
answer.
you know?
My boy was stationed. He was stationed at a nuclear base, bro.
Mm.
Nuclear base. So now to think about it, I'm like, wait a minute. This thing is flying over. Actually, that theoretically would make a lot of sense, bro. Think about this for a second, right? Now, this is just, rabbit hole tinfoil stuff right
Love
now I'm
it.
talking about. But if you're China, right?
China.
And you want to protect yourself from an ICBM attack,
Right.
right?
You would blow up all the electronics.
Well, not even even if you couldn't blow it up, I need to know exactly where they're at and find a way to disarm them. So what better way to do that than to spy on your area and try and collect as much detail as possible?
Absolutely.
So if we do launch an attack or anything like that does happen, who's to
know
say that your nukes don't malfunction now? Because now we know exactly how to get to it.
Well, the question. Look, I don't think anybody.
And that's
including-
just one site.
There's-
Who's to say if there's
right.
anywhere else?
Well, I don't think. I'm definitely not saying that this balloon was here to do anything malicious, but
It's to collect
it was
data for sure.
Collecting
For
data.
sure. That's what I'm saying.
And you know what? Trump actually put something on Truth, and like I shared it, and I thought it was great. And he literally said, "President Xi, sorry not sorry. If you ever fly one of your made in China balloons over the U.S., I'll fly one of our made in America fighter jets over Beijing."
go,
and I was
baby.
like,
Let's
"Oh,
go,
dude, that had
bro.
me so
Stop
high. Like
playing
I
with
was
me, bro.
air
Stop
punching.
playing
I was
with
like,
me.
let's go,
Play with
let's
me in the United States,
go."
bro.
Because Joe's
Punch you in the
like,
face.
Joe Biden ain't gonna do that. Stop.
No,
it.
he's absolutely not.
He's like, there's a balloon, whatever it is.
like, it's only helium.
But
It's
we
not a
gotta-
problem. It's helium.
But then again, it could totally have just been a distraction because, I'm a firm believer of like when someone shows you their left hand,
Right.
you got to pay attention to the right.
Right.
Right? Because while you're looking
Especially
at
if it's
this
hidden.
and you're like, hey, Billy, take a look at this, you're distracted. Something out there stabbing you in the back. Right?
Yep.
So while everyone is literally looking up, what was happening? And there's plenty of other stories that we could talk about and today of what is going on that people aren't paying attention to. But I think moving forward, I don't care. I don't think they're. Oh God! Oh God! We're gonna transition to this. Speaking of things that make you cringe more than China, who watched the State of the Union? And I can promise you, it got weirder than this.
Bro, when you
Can we zoom in on this for a second?
When you sent that picture in the group, I'm like, well, first off, actually, before you sent the picture, you sent me the video, right? And I was like, okay, let me give you the benefit of doubt.
No.
You know how like, no, hang on, hear me out here, bro.
Listen, I can't
I
stop laughing.
I know, but hear me out. It's like when I first saw the video, I'm like, oh, that was really quick. And I
Yo,
was like,
Juan, leave this on the screen.
I'm
Don't
like,
change it.
It's traumatizing.
I know.
But I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh, maybe they were doing like, one of the things like the Hispanics and the Italians do like a real quick kiss, but they got a little too close. That's what I thought. But then when I saw this picture, I'm like, oh no,
Okay.
they really locked it
You
up.
know what I know what really makes me laugh?
disgusting, man.
You want to know what really makes me laugh about this picture? There's two things.
They're swingers.
The first, listen, Joe Biden's brain don't work. I'm pretty sure some other extremities don't work on his
His
either.
brain can't swing.
The guy's eating ice cream and shit in his pants. He's not making love to his woman anymore. But first of all, the fact that Jill Biden looks like Grimace from McDonald's.
Oh no.
And number two, I love the
I
girl
was just
over
about
here.
to say that.
She's like,
They're so in
yeah,
love.
she's like, yes,
She's like,
bitch,
nah, she's like,
yes.
they're so in love.
Kiss him, girl.
I know all about the secret affair.
Do it.
All of it.
You don't want Kamala turkey neck? Go kiss Jill.
It's all
She's a
good.
doctor of education. Kiss her.
It's all good, baby.
Stop. Is that a
Kamala's
man? Wait,
like-
is that a man or a woman?
That's a woman, man.
You sure?
It's clearly a woman.
How
bro.
do you know?
It's a woman.
Why?
It's-
The haircut?
It's definitely a woman.
That's the let me speak to your manager haircut.
That's yeah. Her name's Charmaine.
But why are you so happy? Why? I don't think nobody's that happy to see the second man and the first lady.
Well, Kamala's definitely not kissing Joe Biden.
Definitely.
She's like, no. She's like, yeah, we're not doing that.
So
I'm already
anyway,
at the peak right now.
so if it didn't get weirder, you had Bono in the crowd.
All right, Juan, you're gonna move this. This is kind of scary.
You had Bono in the crowd. You had old Turkey Neck back here. You had Grimace, the first lady. You had Paul Pelosi, they brought out to talk about how he was viciously attacked.
I didn't watch the whole thing. I just saw the highlights because I watched it halfway and I'm like, I'm done.
I turned it on at work, bro. I work at a Mexican restaurant. And I was like, I'm putting it on. We got to watch this because I care. But they literally had Paul Pelosi stand up and they're like, he was victimized at his own home because of events like January 6th. First of all,
that had nothing to do with January 6th.
I understand. If you watched that footage, me and my mom were talking about this today. You watched that footage. First of all, Billy, if you were in my house breaking in, like, gonna beat me up. First of all, you weren't gonna let me open the door for the police. Number one. Number two, once I opened the door for said police, I'm not gonna go, hi, how are you?
Number three, I wouldn't be holding on to my cocktail still while holding on to the freaking the hammer. He still had his drink in his hand.
Number four, homeboy got mollywopped with a cobalt hammer, and he ain't dead. Like, I did construction. You hit someone that hard with a real hammer, your whole thing is splitting like a melon.
Damn.
Well,
son.
yeah, but I mean that doesn't mean you're gonna die. I mean, I know
But
people listen,
homeboy was up in like 5 minutes. He had no stitches, really nothing.
Listen, bro, I know people that got knocked clean out with a freaking metal bat.
So they had him up there.
Not
They
dead.
parade Nancy, and this is what made it weird because Nancy's over there, trying to juggle her dentures in her mouth, like, don't say nothing, Paul. Just stand there, please. Like,
Keep it simple.
I hate her, but she's up there, and Paul's up there. You got all these other people, and so Joe Biden's State of the Union. For those of you who didn't watch it, we're going to summarize it for you. But he laid out an economic plan, which sounded a lot like Trump's plan.
For all of us.
For all of us.
All
He called for bipartisanship. Like, Joe Biden is actually
Let's come together.
He's
Fuck
not
those
masterful.
Republicans.
He's not masterful at anything, right? I'm not giving Joe credit for shit. But what he is masterful of is the backhanded compliment. He's like, "We need to come together. Republicans suck." He's like, we're gonna take care of Medicaid, except for the fact that Republicans want to get rid of it. So he's like calling for bipartisanship while then attacking the Republican Party.
It's not real. That's not real. McCarthy looks like he's about to fall asleep in that picture.
McCarthy actually was the highlight of it, like watching him make faces and just bobble around, and then just watching people stand up and do this. But, don't take our word for it. We actually have a highlight reel I put together for you of Joe Biden. Take a look.
No bidding.
Joey Sleepy.
Stand here tonight after we've created, with the help of many people in this room, 12 million new jobs.
12 million new
More
jobs.
Jobs created in 2 years than any president's created in 4 years.
Not true.
We've created, through help, 800,000 good-paying manufacturing jobs, the fastest growth in 40 years.
Wow. Not true.
30 million workers have to sign non-compete agreements for the jobs they take. 30 million.
30 million.
30 million.
Listen to this.
Cashier at a burger place.
Cashier at a burger
can't
place.
Walk across town and take the same job at another burger place and make a few
Stop it,
bucks more.
Slime.
Listen to them yell.
Change.
Hang on.
Just change it because we exposed it.
We exposed
That
it.
was part of the deal, guys. Look it up. Instead of making the wealthy pay their fair share, some Republicans want Medicare and Social Security to sunset. I'm not saying it's a majority.
Such cap, yo.
Because the soul of this nation is strong.
Uh-huh.
Because the backbone of this nation is strong. Because the people of this nation are strong. The State of the Union is strong.
All right, cut it. Not true. Not true. So much cap. Next slide. So much. That's my laptop background,
Here tonight.
as you can see. So that's just a couple of the highlights here. He actually, and we were just watching this video, right? Mr. Green New Deal, Mr. We're going to shut you down, Mr. We're going to put your coal mines out of business. Literally just said last night, like, make sure you guys keep drilling because we're going to need oil for the next 10 years. And I heard the entire Congress laugh at this man. This is whether, and I don't like him, and I'm not one of those people that were like, nah, my president, like, yo, he sucks. He's the president. It is what it is. But they were straight up laughing at this man on national television. This guy is beyond a joke. It is gone, like, even me, as much as I love to, like, laugh at this man and, like, what a joke I think he is, it's truly sad. And then after all this division and bipartisanship and garbage, for you to turn around and tell people the State of the Union is strong, what do you think about the State of the Union, Billy? You give me your State of the Union.
Listen, man, if you were to compare the State of the Union to a brick, the State of the Union is pudding right now. That's what it is. It's not together. It's not unified.
What kind of pudding?
It doesn't matter.
Rice pudding? Because I like rice.
It's rotten pudding.
I do like rice pudding.
It's rotten pudding. That's what we got right now, unfortunately.
If you didn't watch it, you really didn't miss anything. I did it for strictly informative purposes, but
I want to watch the whole thing now.
It was you can, but it's so laughable, and it's going to lead us into our next slide, which I'm going to have Billy read this title here.
Joe Biden wants to ban assault weapons. But can he get it done? Why did I read that like Joe? President Joe Biden is urging members of Congress to ban assault weapons, an effort that he also led in 1994 with the passage of the federal assault weapons ban. Can he do it again?
Can he?
No.
Why not?
Listen, man. At this point, at this point, with the way that the country's going right now, and the decisions that this president is making, the more they try to push for disarming Americans, that's millions and millions and millions of Americans with AR-15s that they got to get that.
You
from.
do know this statistic, right?
Oh, I know. There's
more. 46% of all the world's guns are owned by America.
Oh, I believe it. There's more guns than Americans here in this country. So I'm like, good luck doing that.
That's pretty true.
Then you also want to put a whole bunch of these men and women in uniform to go out there and confiscate these weapons from people that are exercising their constitutional right. Well, people are dying, so
yeah. And you know what? And this is a big issue. I think we talked about this today, right? So we just talked in our first slide about how a council person had been shot by a gun, and we talked earlier today. And what were Democrats and leftists saying on Twitter? Like, what were some of the things you were seeing that people were saying?
I'll be honest. I wasn't looking at any of the. So whenever someone passes away. Even if I don't like the person, I very rarely look at the comments, because there's almost always, even if that person was an absolute saint, there's always that one jackass in the comments saying some negative stuff. And like, I don't like to engage in that. Just like, let the dead rest unless you're Jeffrey Epstein, fuck you.
Right.
But everyone else, like, I don't.
Well, these comments that people were saying was like, well, this is why we need gun control, right? Like, people use this. Politicizing it. And the reason why I posted this is because, and we didn't have enough time for all his highlight clips, but he had, obviously, anyone who's ever watched the State of the Union, the president usually brings guests, and then they talk about certain issues. They have that person stand up and they clap.
Right.
They had the parents of the young man who was killed by the 5 police officers down in Tennessee. They had them. They had Bono, which I'm still confused as well. Bono was
talking
up
about
there.
like freaking
Bono.
It's a
You
beautiful
too.
Day.
Yeah, that guy, Bono.
That guy?
Bono.
What the hell? He's not even American.
There was also a young man they had there, and I guess he stopped a shooter that was like shooting up a dance studio somewhere. I don't know the full story, but I remember Joe was explaining
the shooter?
So again, this guy, I guess, had shot about 11 people, and this kid like wrestled the gun out of this guy's hand and stopped him and whatever.
Badass.
Like, hey, badass. The shooter was using a semi-automatic pistol, which is you need a permit for. They're actually pretty hard to get for the most part.
Right. It's harder than a rifle.
So Joe Biden, and again, another thing Joe Biden's really good at is going from whispering to like yelling very authoritarianly.
He thinks
and
it makes him
it's
sound more
weird.
compelling.
It's so weird. I think it's like when his brain is switching on and off. But anyway, he's talking about how this kid stopped a guy with a pistol. And he goes, we need to do our part. And then he goes, ban all assault rifles. And everyone's like,
I missed that part.
Dude.
I wish that was in the highlight.
But this, he was like, we have to do our part as Americans. Ban assault rifles. And it was like dude,
hey, buddy.
like he peaked the speakers on my TV. I was like, had to take. But this goes to show like the liberal logic, right? If you're going to try to ban something, at least know what you are talking about. Don't talk about a story, right? Imagine it'd be like, I knew a guy, and he was allergic to oranges, and we got to do our part. Ban bananas. You'd be like, yeah, and that's literally what had happened. They're two completely different things, right? Banning assault rifles, you guys can push that narrative if you want, but most people don't know that 90% of all homicides with guns are done by handguns.
Semi-automatics, yep.
Handguns, not rifles. And I was actually having this conversation. Do you know where the term assault rifle came from?
I'll be completely honest. I have no idea.
Do you think that AR-15? What does AR-15 stand for?
Armalite rifle.
Damn, give me some.
Come on, bro. I'm in the military.
I'm just making sure.
I'm
I'm making sure you know, because there's a lot of people who believe
Armalite rifle.
that AR stands for assault rifle.
No, Armalite rifle.
So quick history, and then we'll move on.
Damn, wrong.
What?
I was wrong.
What did you think?
I thought assault rifle.
Yo, you are a Fed.
Yeah, he is. No, yeah. You're
He's
not-
that guy when they
I
got
was
they were
playing Call of Duty.
he said no. Yeah, so it's Armalite is the company,
correct.
right? So they assume that because again they don't know what the hell they're talking about.
We'll call
right?
it assault rifle.
Yeah,
It'll
they're
scare
talking about
everyone.
the Beto O'Rourke's. We don't need guns that shoot 30 bullets a second. Like, first of all, that's so unrealistic. Why would you want that?
If a gun shot 30 bullets,
Why would you even
they
want
probably
that?
collide into each other. If
You
they shoot
don't
30
do
bullets a
anything.
second, like,
But so actually, real quick, and then we'll move on. And I'll let you take the next one. AR assault rifle was actually a term that came from Nazi Germany.
really?
Nazi Germany, Hitler actually coined the phrase. So they had the, I'm sure Juan, you've played Call of Duty, so you know the MP40,
Right.
That was like one of my favorite guns in there. So they had what was called the M&P 44. And it was the first time that they had went from the regular style of rifle and moved it to what we now know of a semi-automatic. And there's a German word, and I'm not going to butcher it, but Hitler called it, it's like Hefewürzen or something like that, which basically stands for assault rifle, because they're like, hey, here's our new battle rifle. And Hitler was like, that's not a battle rifle, that's an assault rifle. And they used it as a term of propaganda because just like it does 80 years later in America,
They have assault rifles.
it terrifies people. And I explain this to people all the time. You see this cell phone, Billy? If I beat you over the head with it, this is an assault cell phone. Assault is a verb. It's not something that describes the gun. So learn your shit. And for those of you that think you're going to come for that,
I want to get that phone then.
Fun fact.
this is an assault phone. I got it. It's Samsung. You don't want to use that iPhone. The iPhone's not good for the assault. Screen will break.
What's the service?
Don't worry about it.
Cricket
Cricket
He's
wireless.
going to try and tap you.
Cricket. Go ahead. What do we got next? Oh, this your boy. This your boy. Hit him with it. Do you like oranges?
Hang on for a
What's
second.
good?
Let me ask y'all something.
Tell me.
See, last week
Uh-huh.
I was in NYC at the terminal,
The Brooklyn
letting
terminal.
y'all know that if y'all come through, we got plenty of oranges.
Yo, if
for
you had an orange in your pocket, I would have left.
Oh man!
Why didn't you do
I should've been
this?
Prepared specifically for this moment. You see now, now, Eric Adams, the gift that keeps on giving. I know we had him sheep of the week 2 weeks ago. Last week we
Bro,
had what,
he
the
is-
inclusive skater?
Yeah, we have a new name for Eric Adams.
Yeah, the new name. See now what y'all need to understand is that while I was the former chief of police in NYC, and I am now the chief
Of the
of NYC, my new name is the Chief Sheep, or my rap name, Chief Sheep, the Creep. With oranges.
Damn, son.
Damn, son. The truth is Eric Adams could probably drop a mixtape and someone would play it.
Listen, man,
Cardi B would do a remix and everybody would listen.
Eric Adams.
You suck.
Listen, man, it's like, listen, I totally get trying to empathize with people and understand. Hang on, hear me out. Let me get my rant. Let me shoot him in
No,
the
it's
face.
not
real quick.
empathy.
Give me a second.
Pander.
Let me come on.
Okay, I'm
give
sorry.
me my opportunity.
Damn, son.
Damn.
I totally understand you wanting to be empathetic and show that you care and you care for these people. But people aren't stupid. You may have a couple of the people that are super lefty that are like, oh yeah, we totally care about these people, but I'll never open my front door. But they'll virtue signal. I know that gives you guys brownie points, but these people who've also seen real hardship know you're full of mierda, as they would say. Okay? You're full of that.
What's that?
Come on, man. You're Cuban, you know what it is.
Why are you telling people?
You know what it is. But Eric Adams, man.
So what did he do?
Bro, Eric Adams decided to do the ultimate pander. And let's read the headline. Mayor Adams sleeps on a cot. not a piece of cardboard on the floor like you guys are sitting on right now outside the hotel, but a cot. Elevated from the pavement.
It's cold on the pavement.
That's why we're elevated from the pavement. Mayor Adams sleeps on a cot at Brooklyn Cruise Terminal to promote living space for migrants. Now, there are no cruises. You won't be going to the Bahamas. You won't be going to Tahiti. But
You hit the button, the boo this man button.
I was like, what does that sound? But Mayor Eric Adams decides to pander and say, I'm going to sleep with the migrants outside of the tent city. And you know what's funny? I'm 900% positive.
That was a photo op.
No, well, not just a photo op. If he did indeed sleep the full entire time, which I highly doubt, but let's say he did, he didn't sleep out there without a cadre of police officers surrounding the block in like a 3 mile radius.
I
probably.
can tell you, I'll guarantee you that underneath those sheets is a heated blanket. Like one of them plugged-in ones. You really think he slept there?
Hell no, bro.
First of all, who sleeps like this with their hand
even
under their head?
Even if he did sleep there, bro, he didn't sleep there without a bunch of police officers or private security watching that dude. He was like, "Oh, I'm the mayor, man." Yeah, no, you didn't.
Bro,
No,
look
you
how
didn't.
bright it is. How are you sleeping with all these lights on you? You're not sleeping. You took a photo and you left.
Well, that's kind of how photo ops.
It's Pandanomics 101.
Panda, Eric Adams.
But, and so we're going to capitalize on this, right? Because he's trying to promote living space for migrants. I don't have the slide for it, but I sent it to you. Migrants in New York City are actually now fleeing and going to Canada because the homelessness, the drug abuse, and the filth of New York City
and I'm pretty sure crime is
unlivable, right? Crime, drugs, homelessness. Imagine, I posted this to my story, I think. Imagine coming from some town in Guatemala or Venezuela or whatever, crime-ridden, cartel overrun, homelessness, disease, no food, and getting to the Big Apple, right? And then for the longest time, that was the mecca of the East Coast. Like, you have to go to Manhattan. It's the place.
Right.
Imagine getting there after caravanning across the border, cartel, drug trafficking, sex trafficking. You get to Manhattan, you're like, this sucks. I'm going to Canada. But you have a mayor sleeping on a cot. It's actually not a cot. It's a crate of oranges.
Crate of oranges.
Do you like them? We got fresh
plenty-
fruits, brother.
Plenty more of that cake.
Brother wearing shorts.
Thank you so much, Eric Adams, for constantly being the gift that keeps on giving.
The gift that keeps on giving.
Boo that man indeed.
I hope we see him one day in person. Would you boo him in person? What would you say if you saw Eric Adams
If I
in
saw
person?
Eric Adams, I'd be like, "Yo, you want any orange?"
Would you throw it at him?
I'd give him an orange.
You'd give it to him?
I'd shake his hand, but I'm like, "Oh, I have a gift for you. Close your eyes," and I'll just put an orange in his hand.
But I think if you pulled something out of your hoodie, the Secret Service would take you down.
He don't got Secret Service. He's a freaking mayor. He's not the president of the United States.
But Eric Adams. Speaking of Secret Service cover-ups.
Smoking gun. Hunter Biden laptop exclusive. Burisma asked. Oh, okay. We're about to get really into the
It's about
deepness.
to get deep.
Burisma asked Hunter to end the Ukraine investigation on company. Then Joe Biden threatened Ukraine and had investigator fire.
Wow.
Just like that video we showed on the second
Couple
episode,
weeks ago.
if I'm not mistaken, right? I said you're not getting the $1 billion.
So take it back. There's a video clip. We played it
You're right.
of Joe Biden bragging.
If you guys haven't seen it, go to episode 2. See that.
He was bragging about how this prosecutor, they didn't explain why, but he said, if you don't fire this prosecutor, you're not getting the money. And they're like, you're not the president. And he was like, call him. And Barack ain't going to give you the money. And guess what? They fired the son of a bitch. This is Joe Biden's exact words.
Verbatim.
And this laptop, which now, by the way, has been proven it's a real laptop. This is not a conspiracy tinfoil hat. This is a real
And then
laptop.
last week we were talking about how he wanted to get the probe.
But now we're starting to understand why, because
Russia.
each week we're getting more and more information. So now it's confirmed that this prosecutor that was fired was emailing with Burisma and Hunter Biden about investigating this company. Because, again, every crackhead just wakes up one day and becomes an oil tycoon and can work in Ukraine. And that's totally normal, and we're supposed to accept and believe that this is legitimate. But now we're seeing this. And again, how much more of this do we need to understand before we realize this is the Biden crime family?
You know what's an even more interesting question is let's put on the tinfoil hat real quick. For a second,
I got it right here next
And
to
we're
my
gonna go-
oranges.
We're gonna go down the rabbit hole for a second.
Let's go.
Me? This is just like, and I have no way of verifying or proving this, right?
Okay.
But this is kind of what I think is going on. I feel like the Democrats are getting ready to try and dump Joe Biden.
100%.
In some way. In some way, they're going to try and dump Joe Biden. And I feel like, because look, they've known about this laptop for a very, very long time.
Before the 2020 election.
Correct. Trump talked about it ad nauseum, right? Now the media is starting to talk about this laptop. They're talking about it like it's a real thing, because it is a real thing. They're
real.
actually giving it credit, and nobody brought this up. The media brought this up, right? All the freaking people that protected him said, "Oh, it's a Russia conspiracy, it's a hoax." Now they're like, "Well, it might actually be true," and I feel like it's to pull this guy's strings.
Well, his strings are already big.
Oh, I know
pulled,
that.
But
I know that. But but you also got to think of it like this as well, too, though. You got to think of it like this as well, too. Number one, I don't think he cares about his own, or I don't even think he's even aware of the fact of what's going on with him.
I'm calling this right now. Hakeem Jeffries for 2024.
That's what I said the day of the
That swearing in the new Congress, that dude gave not like a transition of power speech. He gave his first campaign speech right then and there on national television.
It was Obama 2.0.
100%. But again, and I'm not a fan, but people ate that up. People ate that up, right? Young black man running on my back. Boom, done, over. People vote for him strictly because why? Because he's black.
I think it's more because of he's got that fucking phony Obama type of cadence.
I understand. People
I mean, look, it worked for Eric Adams. But started to notice a formula.
Yes, but I always tell people this. Would you? And you could answer this. Would you rather the ugly truth or a beautiful lie?
Of course, the ugly truth. But
okay, so Trump is the ugly truth. Obama was the beautiful lie. Obama, I didn't like him, but I swear I'd listen because I've always listened. You hear him speak, you're like, man, you're smooth. I hate you. So damn smooth.
I actually like them.
If you could take Trump's policies with Obama's speaker ability, if that's even the word, right? His public speaking with Trump's like policies, you might have the greatest president ever.
Ever. Oh, for sure.
Ever.
I would agree.
That's probably what JFK would have been like a white version.
Probably not. But
no,
because
he was smooth.
No. I mean, well, smooth, yeah, sure. Was he charismatic? No. He wasn't like Obama charismatic or like Reagan charismatic or even Trump charismatic, but he just had that look and he just was very polished of a kind of guy.
Just say that. You ever watch the movie Pixels?
Pixels?
You never watch Pixels with Adam Sandler?
No. Honestly, I'm not a fan of Adam Sandler that much.
Dude,
man.
you got to watch Pixels. It's an old school movie. Juan, you watch Pixels?
That's the video game one, right?
Yeah.
I know you're talking.
I watch Waterboy.
Dude, that's a great movie too.
Yeah, Waterboy was
but he
great.
was literally like, "How do I know you're you?" And he's like, "The government's been tapping me because I'm onto him. JFK shot first." And I'm like, "What?" It just reminded me of that. But he was like, "Yo,
JFK shot first.
JFK shot first." Like, yo.
Oh my God.
Imagine that. That'd be great. Oh, it's time for.
And if you don't know, now you know.
Excellent. Everybody,
who is it this week?
You're probably wondering, what's all this stuff that's sitting here on the table? This is some stuff from our good friend George Cedeno over at Method Tactical in Saddlebrook, New Jersey. It's the ultimate location for your police supplies, firearms, ammo. Get it before they run out of stock because you know prices are getting crazy right now. Glock armor, tasers. We even got a lovely taser here on display.
Get it for your girlfriend, your mother, for yourself. It's getting crazy out here.
I actually bought one of these myself. This isn't mine, but I actually bought one of these myself, a flashlight with the taser. So, F around and you'll find out if you get a little too close.
It's linear.
And I'll see what I'm doing.
You know that it's linear, right? The more you F around, the more you're going to find out.
Oh, yeah. It's a straight upwards trajectory.
So if you F around a little, you might catch one of these. But if you F around a lot, you're going to catch one of these. And I'm sure if you really, really F around, they probably sell something at Method Tactical for you.
Well, they sell several things at Method Tactical that can actually help you with defense. If you're a police officer, you're in law enforcement, military, former military, or you're a standard gun connoisseur and you're trying to up your game, Method Tactical, Saddlebrook, New Jersey. You can go and check them out, 505 Saddle River Road, Saddlebrook, New Jersey. Tell them Billy Prempa and Revive America sent you. Boom. Method Tactical, Saddlebrook, New Jersey. Check them out.
Sounds dope. Why are these shoes so little?
Because those are Jasmine's boots.
Oh, these aren't yours?
No, Jasmine.
You big as hell, bro, man. You have feet this big?
It's never happening.
Billy be like, tip, tap, tip, tap.
My fists don't even fit in there.
I got little hands. My feet. My hands will fit in there. Don't embarrass me. Moving on. Iran, a message was intercepted that Iran has been threatening to turn New York City into hellish ruins. And then the quote says, have they seen New York lately? So they've actually intercepted a message that said Iran and the terrorist organization that we're looking to to seek $1 billion deal with this radical Islamic regime is looking to send ballistic missiles and nuclear weapons to major U.S. cities in the shortest possible of time.
So this is something that while they've intercepted this, I don't doubt that they are willing to drop a bomb on us or hit us. But to be fair, Iran has been saying this kind of stuff for as long as I've been alive. You know what I mean? Yeah. Not to say that they won't do it, because they're probably like, yo, Joe Biden's a punk. Let's just do it. Screw this guy. But Iran's been saying this for quite some time. They've been saying this for quite some time. Now, my question. So that's if they're attacked by U.S. or Israel. So they're saying, what are they trying to say, that they've got the capability to do so? And it's
right.
like a veiled threat.
And I guess the way they're looking at it now is, since things are starting to happen over there, you also got to understand Iran is in bed with who?
Iran's in bed with Russia.
Right.
Yeah.
Who's the U.S. in bed with right now?
Ourselves at this point, UK, who got
Ukraine.
nothing. Oh, Ukraine. Yeah, but
Okay,
Ukraine,
so-
yeah, but they're the relevant,
I understand.
combatant. In terms
They
of
are.
like the global
no,
war
I'm
here.
not talking about that. But I'm saying, is how much money have we sent to Ukraine right now?
Close to 180 billion.
180 billion.
Just about.
180 billion, but you can't Venmo me $600. Remember, so we're fighting basically the Ukraine war with money and tanks and armor and you name it, fighting against Russia. Now Russia is actually working on a deal with Iran to get weapons of their own. The same weapons that we left over in Afghanistan.
No surprise there.
So America is fighting itself on both fronts. So it is. Well, the reason why I felt like this was relevant is because I do believe that we are going to. It's going to trigger, right? Look, here we are. China's getting bold, sending a balloon. Iran is working with Russia. Russia's attacking Ukraine. North Korea is working on missiles again. Like, there's a lot of stuff happening while everyone's not paying attention, while people are just kind of, looking up at the clouds. And while they may have said these things before, I don't think anything should be taken off the table or not taken seriously at this point. Right?
Fuck you, Iran.
Well, yeah, my sentiments exactly. But I think the biggest thing is saying that they now have the capability with these missiles to do that. Do we really want to F around and find out?
But first things first. First off, Iran doesn't want the smoke with the United States. It's number one.
I hope not.
They don't. See. So like they don't. They don't. they don't. That's like North Korea. Like, we will hit you. Because, like, I bet you if Trump was in office when that message came up and they said, oh, you have the capability to hit the United States, and Trump would probably say, like, I bet you will hit you first.
No, 100%.
That'll probably be his response. Like, I'll hit you first. I promise you. Believe me.
My button's bigger.
Right.
Yeah, that's what he said to Kim Jong-un.
Our button's bigger. Our missiles are faster.
And then my man walked
they're
into
nicer.
North Korea. Savage.
Yeah.
So, Iran, just know we on to you. Over here at Revive America, we're paying attention. But
Yes.
but people need to pay attention because it's not just the ones, again, and that's the thing, is it's not just the Chinas, the Russias that we need to be watching for. Like, there's other countries that want what we have or want to destroy our way of living, right? Think about it. Iran lives on a whole totally different set of value systems here, right? You know, so they hate the Western world. They hate what we stand for. And just because they might be a smaller adversary doesn't mean that they should be slept on. Think about it. 9/11 had hijackers take over a plane and cause one of the biggest casualties on American soil since Pearl Harbor.
Right.
Right.
But
So
that had nothing to do with Iran, though.
no. I'm just saying is that was Al Qaeda. People that were living in these caves. They came out of nowhere. Right. So again, no matter how big or how small an enemy.
Saudi Arabian also. The story gets deep. I get what you're saying.
Well, we can go real deep into 9/11. That's a whole
No,
segment
I
about
get what you're saying, but
9/11.
I'm like,
you know what I'm talking about? George Bush.
yeah.
Damn, son.
Speaking of George, you
No,
know,
don't want to go in on George Bush.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's not go down. I just thought about it because I was about to say something and go down like a.
Well, all I'm saying is that
Yeah.
those were nobodies, right? Nobody knew who these people were, and they
Yeah.
somehow infiltrated our airlines and caused one of the biggest tragedies. So if somebody's out here posting things like this, it needs to be taken seriously, and that scares me when we have the incompetence in the Oval Office, the incompetence that we have in the generals. Our military is great; we love you guys, but these people that are running the show right now,
Terrible
they're more
leadership.
concerned with your feelings. You know what doesn't feel good? A ballistic missile. I'm sure that doesn't feel good.
Bro, your feelings aren't going to kill the enemy.
No, F your feelings.
You know what I mean?
Speaking of people whose feelings I shouldn't care about being hurt, ex-ABC news producer arrested on child pornography charges.
See, this is gonna sound very I was gonna say prejudice, but it's not prejudice at all. He has a very pedophile face.
Oh, he got a pedo face.
He definitely looks like a pedophile.
pedo.
You know what I mean? Like, he just looks like
It's the glasses.
listen, wherever this guy gets locked, this is
Go ahead.
so. United States Constitution protects you from cruel and unusual punishment, right? Which would include like, oh, I'm in danger for my life. I need to be, taken out of gen population. I need to put in like,
PC,
solitary,
protective custody. Yep.
whatever you call it, right? Never been to jail, so I wouldn't know these things.
Me neither.
Good. but I'm like, going to jail is already a shitty situation, right? It's already cruel. I mean, like, to be
Yeah,
fair,
unless you're a billionaire, and then it's probably all right.
which is what's going to bring me to my next thing, right? 'Cause I'm pretty sure this guy's got some sponduli somewhere, right? I believe that if you've committed a crime like something that exploits children, you should not have the right to get protective custody. Well, that's cruel and unusual punishment. No.
Because they'll be murdered day one.
Yeah, but it's not the state that killed them.
the state.
It's a bunch
inmates,
of guys that don't tolerate that.
but
that
they are
kill.
technically the state's responsibility.
No, it doesn't matter, man. It's like, look, listen. The way I look at it is like, look, man, if that happened, it happened. But you don't get special treatment.
I totally agree.
That guy over there killed someone. What's your point? Oh, you can't fight? You should have thought about that before you took that kid's will.
Neither could that little kid.
Exactly. So you got to go over there and fight.
So they found. So they found
murder now.
on this story I read down a little bit. They found this guy's hard drive with a bunch of videos and photos of underage boys and girls doing sexually explicit acts. He even had a couple of conversations with other grown adults about things he wanted to do to minors, things that he was interested in, like real sick stuff. And these are the people that, again, this is a producer. These are the people that are putting together the headlines that you guys eat up like Cheerios. And, you know, it's...
Wait a minute. Was it To Catch a Predator on ABC?
I don't know. Was it? I feel like that was Dateline.
Was it Dateline?
I don't know. Let's see. I'll Google it right now.
Because if that's the case, I'm like, you mean to tell me that guy was under your...
Catch a Predator.
If you mean to tell me you didn't catch that... Was it NBC? NBC. Okay, never mind. Not ABC. NBC. I was about to say,
The Alphabet Boys.
How'd you let that guy get under the radar with that crap? Okay.
I mean,
Never
if
mind.
he's like, hey, guys, I got a great idea. Let's film a show where we go get pedos. And he's just like sitting behind the camera, like
No, the guy-
figuring out what not to do.
Now the guy that does the catching, man, like he seems to get a thrill out of catching these pedos. I'm like, oh, so tell me what you're gonna do with your mouth later.
Yeah. That's so...
He'll-
I don't mean to laugh. I don't mean to laugh, but it's just...
No, because he's catching them like, you weirdo, like
it's
sick
sick.
bastard. I'm gonna
It's
embarrass you now.
sick.
Like, you said that you wanted to fondle her. Is that really what you said? Right?
Yeah, but these are the messages. Isn't
Like,
this
I
your...
didn't say that, but that's
Isn't
your
this a
screen
shirtless
name,
picture
right?
of you? Like,
Isn't that your screen name? Big Lovin' 49.
why do you have a box of pepperoni pizza and a bottle of lotion? Like, you're like, oh.
We were just gonna eat.
Yeah, we're just going to play video games.
I have psoriasis.
Fortnite, you know, we're just going to hang out. Oh, my God. This world is just getting weirder and weirder. Speaking of weirder and weirder, like we've been telling you, if it wasn't bad enough that they were pushing this vaccine on you, you didn't even get to read this story. You were busy. I threw this one at the end. This is a zinger. So the U.S. to test shots against bird flu outbreak as Biden administration weighs poultry vaccination.
Poultry vaccine. See, hang on for a second.
Uh-huh.
Pause for a second, man. Before you go further with this, hang on. Wait a minute. So a bunch of these farms start burning down.
Uh-huh.
These chickens are no longer producing eggs. There's problems with the produce. And now you're telling me, oh, we got an avian flu pandemic that's about to come through. We made this shot just in time to inject in all the chickens that are producing these eggs.
Are you getting it yet? Are you getting it yet? We're getting it.
That's
Are
a question I ask you. Are you getting it?
yet?
Do you understand what is happening right now?
We also talked about how they're making embryos that produce the mRNA vaccine in the eggs as well.
And that's not what I'm with. I'm not with that at all.
I'm not, because here's the thing: is they know me and you. I will die before you inject me with anything like
Right.
that. I will never take your COVID vaccine. I will never do that. But am I going to check every piece of chicken at every restaurant I go to?
How would you even know?
How would you even know? So now you can start messing with food supply, and you can literally vaccinate people unwillingly. This should be illegal. This should be completely shut down. And the fact is listen, Congress, the Senate, all these people are bought and paid for, and they're never going to do anything because those food industries, big tobacco, and the liquor companies run everything. Their pockets are so deep. But things like this, all of a sudden, government is developing the vaccines. An antiviral drug can be used to treat, properly handled, cooked. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so they're basically they're prepping you for another round, right? Because the COVID pandemic. Look, Joe said it during his State of the Union. COVID no longer has its grip on us. AKA meaning people aren't afraid.
Right.
You know, people are moving on with their life. What's the next thing to scare you? Chicken, eggs. You're going to be afraid of this. So what are you going to do? I guarantee you, if this hits the news tomorrow, this is CBS News too. This ain't like Newsmax, right? This is the left news outlets here. You're pumping this to your millions of viewers.
You know what's interesting about this as well too is like because I'm kind of like you know in the zone, kind of just like piecing it together,
Yeah,
like,
go
or
ahead.
whatever. But in the Revive chat, I don't know if it was Jazzy or Kim. One of them sent a video of the I can't remember the weird guy's name from the WHO. Guy with brown skin guy, glasses. He's reading off, talking
No, it's
about
the head of the WHO,
that's
right?
scumbag.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
That guy.
yeah, that guy.
Reading about how there's going to be an H1N5 or something like that, or H5N1 bird flu outbreak that's going to happen in 2023 or 2024. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, bro, We can't even predict the next tsunami. How are you going to be able to predict that the next virus is coming this year unless you didn't have your hand in it?
And you know what, man? Like, I'm sitting here and we're talking about this the same way, and I'm processing. I just process loudly. But I'm sitting here and it's like I'm almost tired of this. Like, I know there's a lot of people.
I'm tired,
I'm saying I know there's a lot of people that watch this that understand everything we're saying, and they're home and they're like, "Yep, you guys are on point." But like, the reason we did this is to hope that like maybe somebody who doesn't
share this live stream right now. By the way, if you like everything we're talking about right now, share this live stream. Tell everybody to follow us. Revive
Share
America.
it to that uncle of yours that is afraid to leave the house.
Share it to your liberal friends that don't seem to like you. Hopefully, we'll wake them up and make you guys friends
Red
again.
pill a day keeps Fauci away. Okay,
This is true.
but you know what? We are just hoping that maybe one or two people that didn't know things like this were happening, maybe they come across this and maybe they're like, whoa. And no one's saying you're going to wake up and you're going to be a conservative, right? I'm just saying, but maybe you question, maybe you ask, because I'll tell you right now, me and my family, we're good. If shit hits the fan, we're good. We got a plan. We got this. We got that. I'm not going to give you all my details because you don't need to know that. But all I'm saying is like, I'm mentally, physically, and emotionally ready for whatever these people are planning. This podcast is not for me and Billy to sit here and talk. It's to educate more people and for you to watch this and then educate your friends. Because once they fuck your food supply up,
it's over.
It's over. They control
I've already
you.
got my food stored up. I'm pretty sure you've already got your food stored up. And in the next couple of episodes, we're going to start showing you some of the stuff that we've got in our own survival kits in the event that something like this
we got to
kicks
do
off.
that. I got some stuff. But you know what? And before we transition to the next slide, you like zombie films? You like
Honestly,
zombie
I hate
shows?
I hate everything about zombies, bro.
Really?
Yeah, bro.
Bro, honestly, I would love a zombie apocalypse,
It's
but not
bullshit,
like
'cause it's never gonna
not like those fast ones. You know, I'm talking about like the Walking Dead ones, the slow like. But every single zombie movie starts with what, Billy?
Some kind of virus.
From what?
Some kind of lab.
An
outbreak.
animal. Every
it?
single
I don't know. I
zombie
haven't seen
movie
too many of them.
that's my thing. But every single zombie outbreak starts with a chicken, a cow, a pig, some sort of virus from an animal. And now here we turn around and you're testing our food supply for the betterment of society.
I honestly think
I yield, good sir.
I believe that the zombie outbreak is the biggest, stupidest, most. It's the stupidest fucking psyop in the world. The zombie.
I'm not
thing.
saying it would happen.
No, I know,
but it would be lit.
I know. No, it would not.
Why?
First off, it would blow Johnson if that happened. That's number one. Hang on, hear me out.
It's Blow Johnson.
Yeah, it would be terrible if that happened.
I'll look for Leon Kennedy.
He's a video game character. Unfortunately, he can't come and save us like Resident Evil. But the thing is, like, I believe it's a psyop, and I believe a lot of people, like, because like I noticed this kind of thing around 2010, 2009ish, where it was just zombie everything, zombie games, zombie movies, zombie shows, zombie this, zombie that. Everybody's capitalizing it. There's all this nonsense. The freaking what was it? The CDC, can't remember what it was, or the FDA had like this whole preparedness kit for like if a zombie outbreak happens.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why is that pumped into like? There's more people
Right.
that are prepared for a zombie for a fictional zombie outbreak that's never going to happen,
Right.
then there are people prepared for a absolutely guaranteed financial downturn that's going to happen in probably the next couple of months, God
100%.
forbid, or even the next year or
I
so.
agree. But I will interject with that. So while the science fiction versions of a zombie apocalypse, right, with people and their limbs falling off and all that shit is unrealistic,
Right.
there is the term zombie, right, actually comes from when they're talking about an infection inside your cerebellum, inside the cortex of your brain,
Right.
and that could cause fever, that could cause basically when the reality that a zombie apocalypse could actually happen. And I'm only say this, it wouldn't be the way we see it on The Walking Dead, but it would actually be a form of rabies that we would get transferred to us from animals, which would then take over the brain. It would cause people to become rabid. Right, and rabid people would be violent. I don't think people would be eating each other or anything like that, but you could actually spread rabies that way through saliva, through fluid transfers, and it could happen from things from our food supply. So as far-fetched as you want to believe it is, the truth is they did a scientific study, and it actually could happen from rabies. That's where the zombie would come from.
I get it, but it would never be able to transmit at the rate as, say, COVID, for example. It's in the freaking air. For you know.
Well,
what
I mean, these scientists.
If I'm investing billions, if not, let's go down the rabbit hole with a metal hat right now.
Ooh.
If we're gonna invest trillions of dollars into creating this global disease thing that's gonna kill everybody and turn everybody into zombies and stuff, right? it's easier for me to just make the COVID stronger and just wipe you out than it is for me to like create something that's going to turn you into a zombie that's going to bite the next man and transmit it to the next man. I'd rather just kill you silently.
I don't think
and then blame it on God knows what.
I don't think
convince you to inject yourself with some other stuff.
I don't think it would be something that would be created. I think it's something that would be accidental, like a mutation from the fact that they're continuously making these things. That
possibility.
Pesticides. Look, I'm not here. I'm not. Believe me, guys. I'm not pro zombie or anything. I'm just saying is the truth is that's more realistic than a lot of these things that these preppers and people are getting ready for.
Right.
It actually could happen. A rabies outbreak. It's the same thing as a bird flu. It's the same thing as a flu. It transfers that same way.
Not as viral. Nowhere near as viral as the flu.
Well, I'm saying is it's not impossible, Billy.
Listen, man.
I sound like a sheep of the week.
It's like, no. Speaking of sheep of the week. We got our sheep of the week. Let's see who it is.
I got you. Your sheep of the week is brought to you by all of you woke individuals.
Oh, actually, you're right. It's more than one sheep. It's basically the sheep that are also watching this next one.
This is the herd of the week. For all of you people that are home watching the Grammys and idolizing these false gods, right? That's a commandment, right?
There's only one
Not
God.
to idolize these false prophets. Idolizing these people at the Grammy Awards and doing all this stuff. So here's a news clip for those of you that didn't watch it. We're going to show you this news clip, and then we're going to break it down. And I just want to show you the absolute irony of what they're feeding you literally in front of your face and you're taking. Go ahead, roll the clip.
Straight up demonic.
Who performed such a cliche song?
Oh God,
unholy.
Yeah, you know, and what
Demons.
followed
Shocking.
the number?
Listen, did you see this?
What followed the number, Laura, was
watch it.
almost as grotesque.
I mean, I
as the
saw.
thing
Oh,
itself
talk about the
was.
brought to you by. Yeah.
Grammy Awards is sponsored by Pfizer.
You can't make that up. We did not edit that. It literally said right after that performance, sponsored by Pfizer, from the people that brought you myocarditis, the devil, ladies and gentlemen. I mean,
Who came up with that idea?
Brought to you from myocarditis. Brought to you by the devil.
Oh, my God.
You see?
Oh, my God.
Thoughts? I've got several
Let's hear it.
thoughts, okay? We're not even going down the rabbit hole with a tinfoil hat with this one because, like, if we were talking about this, let's say, when I was like 16 years old and I first noticed that this was going on in the music industry, or even Hollywood as a whole, I remember back then people would be like, "Oh, Bill, you sound stupid. You sound like a crazy conspiracy. What are you talking about Satanism and music and it's the Illuminati?" And at this point, bro, and I'm gonna look at the camera. If you believe that there is not Satanism in Hollywood right now, you're straight up stupid. I'm gonna flat out call you right now. You're stupid.
Where's the button?
You're stupid, you're blind, and you're being delusional. 100%. This has been going on for a very, very long time. As far back as even before me, like freaking Madonna. Rocking all kinds of satanic imagery.
Absolutely.
So when I see this kind of stuff on television, I try and tell people, like, there's an active attack on Christianity. There's an active attack on Jesus. There's an active attack on trying to promote all this Satanism and all this demonic crap nonstop. They're trying to make that more popular, more cooler. To the point where it's like, hey, kids, you can cut yourself up. You can turn yourself into a completely different gender. You can completely destroy the uniqueness and the divinity of the creation that is you, right? But they'll prop up these same satanic people on television, and these same people will be like, oh, it's just art. It's not Satanism. It's just art. You really believe in all that biblical stuff? Well, I can tell you this. Some of the richest people in the world, some of the richest people in the world believe this kind of crap, and they have a vested interest in trying to indoctrinate not just you, but your children. Ask yourself why. The fact that it's sponsored by Pfizer just even puts the icing on the cake for me.
And it was just pretty funny because we've literally been talking about how these companies they're the devil, right? The quote unquote, like Ricky, the devil. You know, that Ricky Valancourt, that's Pfizer.
Hollywood is the devil.
It
is.
And it's like, well, Sam Smith showed me his boobies and I like them too. Like, I don't. But you're showing these images where you're basically. Look, I remember the first time I went to Catholic school as a kid, right? And I'm not super religious now, but I remember the first time I remember the first time I ever saw a picture of what they depicted the devil as. And I had nightmares for weeks seeing this guy, right? Because they start off, they don't just start you with the devil. It's like Jesus and the angels and God.
It's all love.
It's like, and then it's like,
there's an evil
but then you FAO it, you FA and you FO, and then there's the devil. And I'm like, and like, dude, it messed me up for a long time. But like, here we are. There's kids watching this, right? Because you got your Taylor Swifts and your Ariana Grandes and your Ed Sheerans and your Sam Smiths, and like, kids are watching this, and you're promoting it in a way that like it's making it so socially acceptable that like nobody has fear anymore. And I'm a true believer, right? I know you're a religious guy, right? For those of you who don't know, Billy prays before he eats, and I think that's awesome. Like I remember the first time he did it, because true story. I'm talking about it. Billy, we were literally in a conversation. Billy, and I ain't gonna say what Billy. We were just going in, and Billy was and the food hit the table. He was like, thank you, Jesus. I just want to. I was like, yo. He was like roasting like Bill Pasquarello or somebody. You were going in.
I remember that.
Maybe it was Alex Scoball. I don't know, somebody. You were roasting somebody, and the server was like, "Sir, here's your food." And Billy was like, I just want to thank Jesus for this meal and another day on this earth. And I was like, holy shit! Like he just switched up so fast. But you know, I believe
it's funny because it's true.
It's so true. It don't
important.
matter what he's doing; he's just gonna stop and pray, and that's beautiful. But I truly believe that religion was put in place, obviously, because I have faith in a higher power, and I believe in all that stuff. I'm not super into organized religion, but I believe in God, things like that. But religion was a way to kind of create laws that created order without creating chaos, right? Because it wasn't like, we're not telling you can't do these things. But God, he said, you shouldn't covet your neighbor's wife. You shouldn't steal. You shouldn't kill him. You shouldn't talk bad. You shouldn't war. So, like, I believe it was the original government, right? Religion was the original. Like, you did these things because you wanted to live like a good person. And,
I wouldn't say that.
I mean, no, I'm not saying, I'm not breaking religion down. I'm not simplifying religion. But if you do look at it, right, think about it. Before there were really laws, right, you had religion. You had 10 commandments. Those were really like the first 10 laws of Christianity, if you think about it. No? Yeah, right or wrong?
Well, it wasn't. Oh my God! There weren't necessarily commandments that were meant for Christianity. It was meant for humanity.
Well, I'm saying, that's where my background.
There were also
falls.
laws in place before the commandments came. It was only when Moses came and brought
those
them
10 commandments
said, hey, you gotta follow these.
Were kind of, those were like, things that made people act in a certain type of way and make them better.
I mean,
right?
everything with the everything within the 10 commandments. I don't even think it was more so about like keeping the people in check or keeping them in control. You look at every single one of those commandments, and you can see how violating any single one of those commandments can bring serious harm to yourself, right? Whether it's coveting the neighbor's wife, killing somebody, stealing from someone, disrespecting your parents. All these commandments are very valid, and they make sense. It's not even a matter of control. It's like, look, there's a very serious consequence for all these things, not just because God told you to do them, but
right. And I don't mean it in the sense
bad for your health as well.
I don't mean it in the sense of control, but I mean it's like the first way of like this is how you should act. Like it's decency of humanity.
I would call it it's the basic common sense laws, I guess you would say.
Right.
For
and
existing.
That's what I meant. But when you do things like this, right? I don't know if you're aware of this, and you probably are, but our generation is like one of the least religious generations that there's been.
That's by design.
That's by things like this, like just making it so in your face, like just being able to see this all the time. It makes. Why would I want to go to church on Sunday? Why would I want to do this? Why would I want to, who cares? Heaven's not, whatever the case is, and I'm not here to argue religion, I promise. But I'm just saying,
glad you brought that up.
This is to basically make it so there is, you ever watch Little Nicky? I know you don't like Adam Sandler.
No, remember, I don't like all his films.
But you remember like getting people to sin, like, why do this? Like, who cares? Like, that's what's going on in the world right now, and it's sad.
Like what I'm glad you brought that up when you said that, like who cares, who believes, or it's just easier to believe. Is like one of the greatest tricks, right? And you've probably heard this quote before. It's like one of the greatest tricks of the devil is not the fact that he can, kill or cause you to do very negative things. His greatest trick is having the ability to convince you that he doesn't even exist, or that this is all nonsense, that this is all BS. Do what you want. For example, do what thou wilt. It was one of the slogans of Aleister Crowley, like one of the founders of Thelema, the freaking,
right.
Yeah, right. So, do what you want. There's no big deal. There's no consequence. Anything can go wrong, right? So when you're able to get away with doing whatever you want for so long, it's easy to believe, well, there is no God. It's all nonsense. So that stuff on TV, it's just art. It's just BS without understanding that
get it.
over time, when this starts to because like, bro, you go back not even 10 years ago, none of this would be happening right now. None of this.
Zero.
10 years is not a long time.
I mean, look how far we come from Elvis not being able to shake his hips on television.
Right.
We literally had a dude dressed like the devil.
Bro, there's kids that are born that are 10 years old right now.
Yep.
Right? That before they even hit puberty, they've seen a completely radical shift in culture
100%.
in a very short period
And
of time.
we're actually a part of that because we're right around the same age. We've experienced the 90s. We saw the millennia change.
Oh, yeah.
We've lived through the 2010s, obviously, and then we're seeing. So we're
the last of the old world.
Seriously, you know what I mean? I think we were. Where was I? I was somewhere, and we were talking about winding up a cassette tape, and this 20-year-old kid goes, "What's a cassette tape?"
Oh,
and
yeah,
I was
we're like, what are you talking about?
No. But no, we are. So that is your sheep of the week. I know we had. If you don't know now, you know. But I want to show these to the camera because you didn't even get to see these because you ran in late,
What?
and we're gonna wrap up. But I'm not a big fan of Nike, but I did get these custom.
Oh,
Nike,
no,
bro, read the tag though.
New party. Oh, grand new party.
I got them custom grand new party Nikes. I don't really like Nike,
I hate
but
Nike.
I
I
understand.
throw
But
my Nike
but
stuff
these are
out.
the GMP 6s, player.
We're better off. We need to just hire a third party company.
Sweatshop.
No, a
No?
third party company to make some legit kicks and charge a premium. Why not? They're legit kicks.
Coming to
I
you
would pay the
soon.
premium so long as it's not some Uyghur Muslim guy out there in China that's being forced into slave labor to make these nonsensical
Coming to you
shoes.
soon, the GMP 6s. He just rewind the cassette tape. For those of you that don't know. But that is all the time that we have for you guys. Again, make sure before you click off, you follow us at Revive USA.
Yes.
Follow us on Rumble. We need 25 subscribers.
Just 25. We're trying
25.
to abandon
How many do we have
YouTube
now?
once and for all. To be completely honest, I haven't checked that.
I think we have a couple. If you didn't follow us on Rumble, I'll give you $1 if you follow us on Rumble. I'll Venmo you.
He will give you $1.
I will give you $1. I will follow you on Rumble.
DM us, and he will Venmo you $1.
I'll Venmo you $1. Follow me on Rumble.
DM us.
What's up?
Revive US America on Instagram.
Boom.
DM us. You hear Dave.
I'll give you $1.
You subscribe to the page. You DM us your information.
Yo, imagine we get 1,000 followers
you
on
owe
Rumble.
$1,000. Look, consider it an investment.
I'll do it.
Subscribe
Follow us
to
on
the-
Rumble. I'll send you
subscribe to the
$1.
Rumble page. You'll get $1.
And we'll be here next week at 8 p.m. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Without you, we can't do this.
Yeah. Hold Dave accountable. Subscribe to Rumble, guys.
Have a good night, guys.
God bless you.
I'm really going to have to give this $1.